What is manual handling ergonomics? Ergonomics is the practice of designing tasks, equipment for the workplace to enhance comfort, safety and efficiency. Ergonomic principles play a major role in designing safe and effective manual handling practices. Here are some examples of bad ergonomics. So the first example we have is lifting a box incorrectly. Next we have overstretching, pushing incorrectly. Next we have pulling incorrectly. And finally, standing while we work. So when you're doing a risk assessment for your workplace, step number 1, eliminate the risk. Does the load have to be moved? Is there a better way to move the load? Step number 2, replace the hazard. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Example number 1 is using a pallet truck. Example number 2 is moving a dolly. Step number 3, engineering. Use powerlifting equipment. Here are some examples. So example number 1 is using a forklift. Example number 2 is using a conveyor belt. And finally, example number 3 is using a robotic arm, but just make sure everybody is trained in the use of the equipment. Step number 4, administrative. Sometimes it's not cost effective. An example would be a robotic arm. Use what is relevant inside your workplace. And finally, step number 5, PPE, personal protective equipment. There are 6 main types. Here are some examples. So the first example we have is a hard hat. The second example we have is steel toe foot protection. The third example we have is ear protection. Number 4 is eye protection. Number 5 is gloves. And finally, number 6, wear masks when appropriate. So now we're going to look at the acronym T.I.L.E for manual handling. T stands for task. It includes lifting, pushing, pulling, repetitive activities, and team manual handling lifting. I is for individual, which will differ from one person to the next. L is for load. Is the load shaky, heavy, dangerous? Will the load reduce visibility? E is for environment. Is the floor slippery? Can I see from point A to point B? So now we're going to take a look at the power zone. The power zone is the space between your mid-thigh and mid-chest, where you can lift the most with the least amount of exertion. Using the power zone gives you the best chance of keeping a neutral position when you're manual handling. The weight that can be safely lifted will differ from one person to the next. The closer a load is to your body, the more weight you can safely lift.